Hello and welcome to today's trauma-sensitive yoga class. For today's practice, you'll need a folded blanket. If you've got a strap, you can grab one. It doesn't have to be a yoga strap, any kind of strap. And then if you have a chair, we're going to use a chair for a couple of the poses. Set this off to the side for now. So once you have those items, you can go ahead and come into a comfortable seated position. I recommend sitting up on your folded blanket to help your spine be nice and straight and long. So we'll lift the lower belly, we'll relax the shoulders, allow the hands to come to the knees. You can bring the chin in and allow the crown of the head to draw up. You can always sit with your legs underneath you or try crossing at your feet. You're also welcome to sit in a chair. So for today's practice, I'd like to invite you to really pay attention to where you are feeling each pose that we move through. And as you pay attention to where you feel the pose, I invite you to make any adjustments necessary to find the optimal level of sensation for each pose. Now the optimal level may be different on different days. Some days you might want something a little bit more easeful, and some days you might want something a little bit more challenging. Only you know what you need on any given day, so I invite you to make that choice. Just ask you to always avoid pain and err on the side of backing off a little bit rather than overdoing it. You can always adjust over time, but since this is a practice that's meant to be lifelong, we're not in a hurry to get anywhere, so we'll take our time and just find that optimal level of each pose and allow ourselves to be there. So I'll invite you now to close your eyes if you'd like, and begin to turn your attention to your breath. So allow the breath to come in and out through your nose. And as you exhale, imagine that you're fogging up a mirror with your exhale, even though it's coming out your nose. Looking for a similar sensation as if you were fogging up a mirror. It sounds a little bit like the sound of the ocean, as this is sometimes called ocean breath. And we'll take a few moments now to do some square breathing. So for square breathing, we'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and hold for 4. If that duration doesn't work for you, make whatever adjustments you need. And if at any point you get lightheaded or you're feeling gripping, just resume a normal breathing rhythm. So I invite you now to exhale fully and completely. And then we'll inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3. One more. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. And hold, 2, 3, 4. Good. And see if you can keep your breath moving in and out your nose for this entire practice, if it feels all right. You can slowly allow your eyes to open if they were closed. And if you aren't sitting with your legs crossed at the shin, you can go ahead and move to legs crossed at the shin now, and we'll move into a Sufi grind, a little bit of movement in the torso. So we're going to make circles with the torso, and these circles can be big or small. They can be rounded or with a flat back, whichever you prefer, whatever feels better in your body today. And we'll go ahead and link the breath. So we'll inhale on the front half of the circle and exhale on the back half. Inhaling as we circle forward and exhaling to circle back. Good. And then go ahead and switch the cross of your legs, and then we'll switch the directions of the torso circles. And once you get your rhythm going, you can add that connection to the breath, inhaling on the front half of the circle and exhaling as you circle back. You can be rocking back and forth on your sitting bones here. Again, this movement can be big or small, straight or rounded. We'll begin to make the circles smaller, imagining that we're drawing a spiral with the crown of the head, making the circles tighter and tighter until we find ourselves back to a point of stillness. Good. And then we'll make some circles with the shoulders. Roll the circles back, roll the circles back, roll your shoulders back. And then reverse and roll your shoulders forward. Good. And then we'll make some gentle circles with the neck. Moving first in one direction. And then reverse, making circles in the other direction. And we're going to move our way into a tabletop position. If you've got a folded blanket, you can put it underneath your knees to provide some support and cushion for your knees. And we're going for hips over knees and shoulders over wrists. We're lifting the lower belly, not so much that you are arching the back, but to create a nice flat back, and the chest is broad. Fingers are spread and pressing into the mat. And we're going to go into a balancing table. So you've got the option to do this just with your legs, or you can add the arms. So we'll start with the right foot and bring it straight back, and you can come up onto your toes. And you can stay with your toes on the mat, or you can lift that foot, floating that foot so that it's about parallel with the ground. And then, if you'd like, you can lift the left arm, also parallel with the ground. And then imagine that you're pulling the left fingertips away from the right heel. Keeping your head in a neutral spine. Good. And we'll lower the hand, and then the foot. And then we'll switch sides. We'll put the left foot back, start with your toes on the mat, And you can stay here, or you can float the left foot up, about parallel with the ground. And if you'd like, you can float that right arm up and pull the right fingertips away from the left heel. Keep the lower belly lifted. The arm should be about in line with your ear here. And we're continuing to move the breath in and out through the nose if possible. Good. Lower the hand, lower the leg. Very nice. All right, we're going to go ahead and move into a half moon variation on a knee. So we're going to shift the weight into the right knee and the right hand. Open the hips. Bring the left arm straight up. And then if you'd like, you can float that left foot up so that it's parallel with the ground. Foot flexed. And again here, the shoulders and the hips are open. Broadening through the chest and the collarbone. And pulling that left foot away from your body. You can always put that left foot back down if you'd like. Good. And then we'll bring the left hand to the hip, lower the left foot, and we'll swing the right foot back straight behind us and move into a stretch for the left side. So now we'll point the left toe, lift the arm up, and stretch the arm to the right. So we're getting a nice stretch through the side body here, a variation of gate pose. Shoulders and chest are facing forward and hips remain open. Good. And then bring the arm down and make your way back into tabletop. And you can just lift the other side. I'm going to turn around so you can see me a little bit better as we move into the right side. All right, so shifting the weight over into the left hand and the left leg, keeping that left toe straight back. Open body. Right arm stretches straight up to the ceiling. And then if you'd like, you can allow that right foot to float till it's about parallel with the ground. And breathe. The lower belly engaged, chest broad. If you need to swing that left toe back just a little bit for balance, you're welcome to do so. Good. And then lower the right foot, put the right hand on the hip for a moment, and then you can swing that left foot straight back behind you, and then we'll swing the right arm up into a nice stretch on the right side of the body. So here the foot is pointed, chest is open, even moving a little bit toward the ceiling, and really feeling a nice stretch through the right side of your body. Good. And then make your way back into tabletop and flip back to the other side. All right, and from tabletop, we're going to come down onto our heels with our toes tucked. And we're going to move through some cat-cow in this thunderbolt position on our toes. So hands on the knees or the thighs, and we'll inhale to bring the chest forward like we normally do in cat-cow, and exhale to round, pulling the belly in toward the back, allowing the chin to drop and the shoulders to roll forward. Inhaling to bring the chest and the belly forward, lifting the chin, and exhaling, reversing the movement, going into a rounded back and allowing the chin to drop. Inhaling to this variation of cow And exhaling into the variation of cat. Good. And make your way back to a neutral spine, and then you can grab your chair if you want to. You can do it without, but I'll show you a variation of camel pose with the chair. This is good for pregnancy or anybody that's got some lower back issues. So knees can be about shoulder width apart, and here we're going to place our hands on the chair behind us. Lift the chest, lift the chin, engage the belly, and just have a gentle back bend. Good. And come back into neutral, bring your hands to your hips, take a couple breaths. And then we'll do that one more time. Hands back on the chair, lift the chest, allow the chin to lift and engage the lower belly. Now if you don't have a chair, you can always just place your hands on the small of your back or even reach back and grab your heels. Good. And come back to neutral. You can move the chair out of the way for now. And then you can move your folded blanket off to the side. And we're going to come in to downward facing dog. So we'll walk the hands forward, tuck the toes, and lift the hips up and back. We'll hug those upper inner arms toward your ears. Press into all 10 of your fingers. And lift the hips up and back. Pretty nice length in the spine. Legs can be bent here. You can pedal the feet, straightening one leg at a time. And then can go back into the bent legged downward facing dog, or if your hamstrings are feeling good, you can work your legs towards straight and work the heels toward the mat. You can give your head a little shake, yes and no. And then walk the feet toward the hands. Into a flat back. So we'll bring the hands up to the shins or the thighs and bring the crown of the head forward. Keep your belly engaged. And you can either hold on to your elbows behind your back, or you can bring your hands out parallel with the ground, or you can keep them on your shins or your thighs. Just keep your weight slightly forward and try to keep your back nice and flat. We'll take a couple breaths here. And from here, we're going to come into chair pose. So we're going to sit back in the heels, sweep the arms up, sit back so that we can see the toes, and then lift the chest, lift the belly, the shoulders move away from the ears. Take a couple breaths in this nice strong chair pose. And on your next exhale, press through the feet, bring your hands together and come to stand. Very good. We'll do another chair pose, and this time we will add a twist. So we'll sweep the arms up on an inhale, sit back in the heels, lift the arms up, and then bring the hands parallel to the ground, open the hands and twist to the right. Now your right hip's going to have a tendency to pull back, so bring that left hip a little bit forward as you twist. Or not the left hip. The right hip's going to have a tendency to open, so pull the right hip forward as you twist to the right. Good. Then come back to neutral and twist to to the left. And now the left hip's going to want to open, so pull the left hip forward as you twist to the left. Keep your belly engaged and your heels heavy. Back to neutral. Lift the arms back up, and on an exhale, press through the feet and come to stand. Very good. All right, go ahead and face the front of your mat, and we're going to move into tree pose. So we'll shift the weight into the left foot, turn the right toe out, bring your hands to your hips, and you can keep your foot on the mat. You can bring your foot to your calf, or you can lift it up to your inner thigh, just avoiding the knee joint. Press through all the parts of your foot. Weight is equally distributed through the front and the back of the foot. Find that focal point for your eyes. And then your hands can come to heart center, or they can float up overhead, wherever you like. Keep a little micro bend in that left knee so you don't hyperextend. Continue to breathe. Good. Coming into the pose, how we came out. Hands come back down first. And then the right knee turns in and lowers back to the ground. And we'll shift the weight into the right, turn the left foot out, bring the left foot either to your calf, or it can stay on the ground, or you can bring it up to your inner thigh. All of those options are equally good. Just pick the one that's best for you. Make sure your weight is distributed through all parts of your foot. And as you press into the foot, you grow a little bit taller. Find that point to fix your gaze. And then the hands can come to heart center or float up overhead. And bringing the hands back down first. And then the left knee turns in and lowers back to the ground. Very good. We'll go ahead and grab our chair now as we're going to move through a few warrior poses, and you might choose to use the chair for balance. So we'll place the chair on the right side of the mat, and we'll go ahead and come in to high crescent. So right foot forward, left foot back, and your feet are on railroad tracks here, so they're not on a tightrope. The left hip is pulling forward, and then that back foot can be bent so that you can point your tailbone toward the ground. And then you can sink just a little bit deeper into the pose if you've got space, lifting the lower belly, and then if you like, hands can float up. We'll hold crescent for a few breaths, and then we'll transition from crescent into warrior two. So from crescent, hands come together to chest center, and then the left foot is going to turn out as we switch our feet into warrior two, and the hands come out, gaze floats over the right fingertips, pressing into the heels. Knee is not going past your ankle. Core is engaged. Shoulders are coming away from your ears. And from warrior two, we're going to move into a variation of warrior three, and this is where you can use the chair. So we'll turn the hips back toward the chair, shift the weight forward. I'm going to adjust. So now both hips are facing the front of the mat. You can have one hand on the chair and one hand extending straight. This left foot can be as high as you'd like, and this right leg can be straight, or it can be bent, but you really want to try to keep your hips in line, which makes this a really powerful pose for the right foot, right leg. Good. And on your next exhale, press through the right foot and come to stand. Then we'll repeat those same poses on the other side. So this time we'll step, when did we step back? We stepped back left. So this time we'll step back the right foot. So we'll come up onto the ball of the right foot. Left knee is bent, not extending past your ankle. Have a little bend in that right leg so that you can point your tailbone toward the ground, lifting these frontal hip points and engaging your belly. And once you are there, you can adjust your feet and see if you can sink a little bit deeper. And if you'd like, you can float the hands up overhead. You can straighten that back leg only if you can keep your lower back nicely supported by keeping the lower belly engaged. Okay. And from here, we'll transition into Warrior Two, bringing the hands to heart center, externally rotating the right foot, placing the heel on the ground, opening the hands, and shifting your gaze over your left fingertips. Shoulders and hips are open, heels are heavy, shoulders relaxed, fingertips pulling away from each other. Breath flowing in and out the nose. And we'll prepare to transition to Warrior Three, bringing the hips forward, coming back onto the ball of that foot, shifting the weight so that it's over your left ankle, adjusting your chair placement as needed. And then one arm comes forward, one hand can stay on the chair, and then that extended hand and the extended foot are pulling away from each other. Right hip isn't lifting, left leg can be bent or straight. And breathe. And on your next exhale, press through the left foot and come to stand. You can move the chair off to the side and then bring your feet apart, and we'll come into a wide-legged forward fold. So both toes, the toes of both feet pointing forward. The arches are lifting. These right thighs are really active and engaged. Our right thighs, both of your thighs are active and engaged. Start with your hands on your hips. Run through the chest and begin to fold forward. If you have a very difficult time reaching the floor, you can use that chair to put your hands on the chair. If you've got blocks, you can also put your hands on blocks. Or if you can reach the ground, you can allow your hands to fall to the ground and allow your back to round. And here, like in our other forward fold, the weight is slightly forward, so your toes are just a little bit heavier than your heels. Keep your thighs engaged. Really helps you get a little deeper into the hamstrings. Come back into a flat back. Bend your legs, bring your hands to your hips. Come up to stand. You can heel toe your feet together. And we'll begin to transition back down to the floor. So we'll bring one foot forward, the other foot back, bend both legs. Catch yourself with your hands And then swing your heels off to the side so that you can bring them together in front of your body. You can sit back up on that folded blanket if you'd like. Bring the soles of your feet together, and we'll do a bound ankle pose. So you can hold on to your ankles or put your hands behind you. Lift up tall, engage your core. And if you've got the space, you can slowly fold forward. And here's where finding that edge for you is a good idea. So find the place where you get the amount of challenge that feels good in your body for today, but doesn't move into pain. If you're feeling sensations in your knees, you can prop something underneath your knees like pillows, folded blankets, yoga blocks, whatever you've got. And you to allow the breath to be full and deep. Good. And then come back up. And from here we'll move into a straddle pose. So we'll bring the legs out as wide as you'd like. You can stay up on that folded blanket. And here your knees can be a little bit bent or a lot of bit bent or straight, whatever's going to be good for you for today. So if your legs are straight, again your thighs are active and engaged. Feet can be flexed. Inhale to grow tall, and exhale, you can begin to walk your hands forward. And come back up. You can place your hands behind you and lift the chest, coming into a gentle back bend. Good. And then using your hands to support your knees, you can bring your legs together, and we'll make our way onto our back and grab your strap on your right arm. So with the left leg bent, we'll place the strap over the sole of the right foot and extend the right foot straight up overhead. And your leg can be bent here, that's completely fine. If holding onto a strap is difficult for your hands, you can wrap the strap around you and just more easeful on your grip. And here we're wanting to keep the hands about shoulder width apart. We're bringing that right hip toward the left leg as we pull down with the hands. Really trying to get a lower back release here. You'll likely feel this a little bit in your hamstrings. What we're really going for is a lower back release, so make sure you're not pulling the foot towards your face, but really working on pulling the foot toward the ground. Good. And release the right foot. And then put the strap over the sole of your left foot. Send that left foot straight up. You can wrap the strap around your hand if you'd like. Hands are about shoulder width apart. That left hip is moving down toward your right foot. And then you're pulling straight down on your hands. Imagining you're bringing that left ankle toward that left hip, even as you're moving the ankle away from yourself. So this is a kind of an isometric, pressing the foot up while you pull down with the hands, and really seeing if we can allow that lower back to release on the left side. Good. And release. All right. turn. So you can move the strap off to the side. We're going to move into a reclined pigeon pose. Now, if you're pregnant, since we've already spent some time on our backs, you can prop yourself up on your elbows, and you can do the reclined pigeon on your elbows so that you're not lying back flat on your back. So we'll take the right foot and cross it over the left first, and you can stay here, or you can interlace behind your left leg and pull that left knee in towards your chest. Feet are flexed and lower back is working toward the ground. And the breath continues to flow. And release, and we'll switch sides, across the left, over the right. Staying here, or bringing that right knee in towards your chest. And release. Right leg comes to the mat, uncross, and we'll set up for our Shavasana. So if you're pregnant, you can find your comfortable position on your left side. If you've got some lower back issues, knees can come together and heels can be wide, or legs can be straight, and you can put a rolled blanket underneath your knees. Palms can be up and shoulder blades can walk together underneath you. If you'd like, you can return to that square breathing we did at the beginning, or you can allow your mind and your body a few minutes of rest. If you'd like to remain a little longer, you can pause this video and stay as long as you like. Or if you're ready, you can bring gentle movement to your hands and your feet. And very slowly allow your eyes to open. If you're on your back, you can hug your knees into your chest. Maybe giving your lower back a little massage, making some gentle circles. And then you can roll onto one side and use your hands to help you move back into a comfortable seat. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll look forward to practicing with you again soon.